It was December 31st, 2000, New Year's Eve in Japan. A day for family, celebration, and looking forward to the future. But in the quiet Setagaya ward of Tokyo, a day of hope was about to turn into a scene of unimaginable horror. This is the story of the Setagaya Family Murders, one of Japan's most infamous and baffling cold cases. The Miyazawa family, Mikio, his wife Yasuko, and their two young children, 8-year-old Niina and 6-year-old Rei, were a typical, happy family living in a peaceful suburban neighborhood. Mikio worked for an international consulting firm, Yasuko was a teacher, and their children were bright and full of life. Their home was located right next to a park, a seemingly idyllic spot. But on the last day of the year, their lives were brutally cut short. The discovery was made by Yasuko's mother. She had been trying to call her daughter all morning, but the line was dead. Worried, she decided to visit the house. She had a key, so she let herself in. What she found inside was a scene that would haunt her and the entire nation forever. On the ground floor, she found her son-in-law, 44-year-old Mikio, lying at the bottom of the stairs. He had been stabbed multiple times. The horror escalated as she moved through the house. Upstairs, in a loft area, she found her daughter Yasuko, 41, and her granddaughter Niina, 8. They too had been savagely attacked. The most heartbreaking discovery was in the children's bedroom. Little 6-year-old Rei was found in his bed. He had been strangled. The police were called immediately, and what they uncovered painted a picture of a killer who was both bizarrely methodical and astonishingly brazen. The timeline they pieced together suggests the killer entered the home sometime late on the night of December 30th. It's believed he climbed a tree in the adjacent park and entered through a small, second-floor bathroom window that had been left slightly ajar. The first person he likely encountered was little Rei, sleeping in his room. The police believe the killer strangled him first, possibly so his cries wouldn't alert the rest of the family. Then, Mikio must have heard a noise and gone to investigate. He fought his attacker fiercely on the stairs, but was ultimately overpowered and stabbed to death. The weapon used was a sashimi knife, a long, thin blade typically used for slicing fish. After killing Mikio, the killer went upstairs. There, he attacked Yasuko and Niina, who were likely sleeping in the loft. He used the same sashimi knife, but with such force that the blade broke. Undeterred, the killer then went to the kitchen, found another knife, a Santoku kitchen knife, and continued his vicious assault on the two defenseless victims. The brutality was shocking, but this is where the case takes a turn from a tragic home invasion to something far stranger. After committing these terrible acts, the killer didn't just flee. He stayed in the house. 4 hours. Evidence showed that he used the family's computer, not once, but twice. The first time was around 1:18 a.m., shortly after the murders are believed to have occurred. The second time was around 10 a.m. the next morning. He browsed the internet, visiting the website of the company Mikio worked for and the site of Yasuko's cram school. He even tried to purchase theater tickets online, but failed. He treated the family's home as his own. He ate ice cream directly from the container, leaving 4 cups on the living room table. He drank barley tea from their fridge. He used their bathroom, but oddly, didn't flush the toilet, leaving behind crucial evidence. He went through their drawers and papers, scattering them around. He took a nap on the living room sofa. He even used the family's first aid kit to bandage a wound on his hand, which he likely sustained while fighting with Mikio. He stayed in the house for somewhere between 2 and 10 hours, while the bodies of the family he had just murdered lay nearby. This bizarre behavior has baffled investigators for over 2 decades. Why would a killer linger at the crime scene for so long? Was it arrogance? A complete lack of remorse? Or was he looking for something specific? Despite his carelessness, the killer left behind a mountain of physical evidence. And I mean a mountain. Over 246,000 police officers have worked on this case, making it one of the largest investigations in Japanese history. They have collected more than 12,000 pieces of evidence. They found the killer's DNA from blood, saliva, and other traces left at the scene. This DNA told them a lot. The killer was male. Analysis showed he had a mother of European descent, possibly from a country near the Mediterranean or Adriatic Sea, and a father of East Asian descent. This mixed ancestry is relatively rare in Japan. They also found his fingerprints all over the house, and thanks to the unflushed toilet, they recovered his feces, which allowed them to analyze his last meal. It consisted of string beans and sesame seeds, eaten several hours before the crime. The killer also left behind his own clothes. He had changed into a sweatshirt belonging to Mikio, leaving his own blood-stained black Uniqlo sweatshirt, a jacket, a hat, and a hip bag at the scene. The clothes were all size medium or large, suggesting a man of average build, around 170 centimeters or 5 feet 7 inches tall. The clothes were sold in specific regions of Japan, and only a limited number were produced, yet tracking down the buyer proved impossible. Inside the hip bag, police found another strange clue: sand. Analysis of the sand revealed it came from the Edwards Air Force Base area in California's Mojave Desert. This led to speculation that the killer might have had military connections or spent time in the United States. Another key piece of evidence was the murder weapon itself. The sashimi knife was of a brand that was not widely sold. The police managed to trace it, but again, the trail went cold. The second knife was from the family's own kitchen. And then there's the footwear. The killer left behind clear footprints from a specific model of Slazenger sneakers, a British brand. These shoes were a Korean-made model sold in size 28 centimeters, which is a US size 10. Again, police traced the sales records, but couldn't identify the purchaser. So, we have DNA, fingerprints, a detailed physical description, clothing, and even the killer's last meal. With all this evidence, how is it possible that this case remains unsolved? There have been many theories over the years. One early theory was that it was a robbery gone wrong. The killer did take some cash, around 150,000 yen, and Yasuko's wallet, but the amount was relatively small, and he left other valuables behind. His prolonged stay in the house doesn't fit the pattern of a typical burglar who would want to get in and out as quickly as possible. Another theory centers on a grudge. Was the killer someone who knew the family? Someone who held a deep-seated hatred for Mikio or Yasuko? The killer's visit to their respective work websites could support this. Police investigated everyone in the Miyazawa's lives, friends, colleagues, neighbors, but found no credible suspects. The family was well-liked and had no known enemies. Some have speculated about a connection to skateboarding. The park next to the house was a popular spot for skateboarders, and there had been some noise complaints from the Miyazawas in the past. Could the killer be a disgruntled youth who had a confrontation with the family? The clothes left behind, a bucket hat, a hip bag, a specific type of sweatshirt, could fit the skater profile of that era. Police investigated local skate groups extensively but found no leads. The international DNA profile and the American desert sand led to theories about a foreign national, perhaps a soldier or someone with ties to the US military bases in Japan. However, despite international cooperation, this lead has also gone nowhere. The most disturbing theory is that this was a thrill kill, committed by a psychopath who chose the family at random. The sheer brutality, the lack of a clear motive, and the killer's calm, almost contemptuous behavior at the scene all point towards a deeply disturbed individual. The act of strangling a child first, then methodically murdering the rest of the family, suggests a cold, calculated, and remorseless predator. Today, the Miyazawa house still stands, preserved by the Tokyo Metropolitan Police as a massive piece of evidence. It's a silent, haunting monument to the family that was lost. Every year, on the anniversary of the murders, police hold a vigil, renewing their vow to find the killer. A reward of up to 20 million yen, about 130,000 US dollars, is still offered for information leading to an arrest. The profile of the killer is that of a man who would now be in his 40s or 50s. He is out there, somewhere, living a life, while the family he destroyed has been frozen in time for over 2 decades. He has a European mother and an East Asian father. He was likely in his late teens or 20s at the time of the crime. He has a scar on his hand. He left his DNA and fingerprints everywhere. It's almost unbelievable that with so much information, a person can simply vanish. It speaks to the possibility that he may have left the country shortly after the crime, or that he was a transient individual with no fixed address or social connections that would put him on the police radar. The Setagaya family murder is a chilling reminder that even in one of the safest countries in the world, evil can strike without warning and without reason. It's a puzzle with all the pieces laid out on the table, yet the final picture remains incomplete. The only hope is that one day, a new piece of information, a new technology, or a guilty conscience will finally bring the killer to justice and give the Miyazawa family the peace they have been denied for so long. Thank you for watching. If you found this case as compelling as I did, please like this video and subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into unsolved mysteries. See you next time.